Hello, my dear students. Welcome to my English lesson. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Ayjan Bazarbekovna. I'm an English teacher of Kazakh University of Technology and Business, History of Kazakhstan and Social Humanitarian Disciplines. So let's begin our lesson. The topic of our today's lesson is education in Britain. First of all, let's get acquainted with new words with our active vocabulary. Repeat after me. Compulsory, compulsory, обязательный. Free, free, бесплатный. Infant, infant, подготовительный. Junior, junior, младший. Nursery, nursery, детский сад. Primary, primary, начальный. Secondary, secondary, средний. Private, private, частный. Public, public, общественный. Public school, public school, частная школа. State school, state school, государственная школа. Boarding school, boarding school, интернат. All boys school, школа для мальчиков. So, let's have a look at this slide. Education brings a child the world. Do you agree with this statement? Of course we are. So many British children start school at the age of 3 or 4, if there is a play school near their house. These schools are nursery and they are not compulsory. Children are taught to sing, draw. They play different creative games. Compulsory education begins at the age of 5, when children go to primary school. So, the first stage of school is primary. The first type of school is primary school, primary education. All children start primary school by the age of 5. Primary education lasts for 6 years. They attend the infant school from 5 to 7 and then junior school until they are 11. Some parents pay for their children to attend a private school, but all children have the right to go to a state school, which is free. Private schools are called public schools. Most of them are boarding schools. More than 90% of British children attend state schools. In English schools, pupils have to address men teachers sir and women teachers miss or Mrs. So in this slide, you will see some interesting facts about British schools. The most famous public schools in Britain are Eton, Harrow, and Winchester. A year at Eton costs £17,000. It is very old and a lot of important people used to be students there. It is an all-boys school. Prince William, whom can you see in this picture on the right, the Queen's grandson, went to Eton too. So, before getting acquainted with next stage, let's have a look at the vocabulary. Repeat after me. Core, обязательный. Optional, по выбору, факультативный. Science, предметы естественно-научного цикла. Arts, предметы гуманитарного цикла. Tutor, преподаватель. В Оксфорде или Кембридже, закрепленный за студентами. Gown, мантия, одежда английских студентов и профессоров. So these were our vocabulary, new words. Now, in this slide, you can see secondary education in Britain. After 6 years of primary education, children take exams in core subjects and go to secondary school. Children study compulsory subjects like English, literature, mathematics, IT, information technologies, religious education, and optional courses like one foreign language, one science subject, and also one art subject, history, geography, physical education, design, and technology. That's all. The next, what concerns school uniform in Britain? Of course, a lot of people think that school uniforms in England are for the children from rich families at the country's best schools. But it isn't always true. In fact, uniforms first came to schools for poor because they were cheaper. Today, a lot of British schools have uniforms. Usually they differ only in colors, but include a blazer, a pullover, a short or a blouse, trousers or a skirt, tights or socks, shoes and boots, a scarf and gloves of a certain color, a cap or a hat. School badge is on a cap and on a blazer's pocket. One of the most important elements of the uniform is a school tie. The next type of school is secondary education. After 5 years of secondary education, pupils take General Certificate of Secondary Education. It's an examination. Compulsory education ends at 16. Some people leave secondary school and go to colleges for further education. Some choose to stay at secondary school for 2 years more and prepare for university. In this slide, you can see marks that British students get. For example, A is for excellent. In Russian, we don't have the equivalent. A, very good, 5. B, good, 4. C, satisfactory, 3. D, poor, unsatisfactory mark, yes. So, and very poor, it's the lastest, E. Satisfactory, poor, very poor, and off. So, in British schools, they have their own rules. For example, be polite, say hello when you see a teacher, come to school on time, stand up when a teacher comes into the classroom, wear your school uniform, don't eat or drink in the classroom, don't run in the corridors, don't bring mobile phones to class, don't talk to people in lessons. So, in this slide, you have the task. You have to find out the type of school. So, you have some prompts, age of pupils. For example, from 3 till 5 years, students go to blah, blah, blah school, and so on. I think that you will do this task correctly. Now you can check yourself. The next stage is higher education. Higher education begins at 18 and usually lasts 3 or 4 years. Students go to universities, polytechnics, or colleges of higher education. There are now about 80 universities in Great Britain. The academic year is divided into 3 terms. Terminal examinations are held at the end of autumn, spring and summer terms. Only 2 re-examinations are allowed. British universities usually keep to the customs of the past. Upon graduation, all the students have to wear long black gowns and students' caps. Oxford and Cambridge universities. Oxford University is the oldest and most famous in Britain. It was founded in the 12th century and is a collection of colleges with more than 12,000 students and 1,000 teachers. What concerns Cambridge University is the second oldest. It was founded in the 13th century and has 27 colleges. They both have a reputation of privileged schools. Many prominent people studied there. The tutorial system is one of the ways in which these universities differ from all over. Every student has a tutor who plans his work. On this slide, I have prepared some wisdom words for you. Live and learn. It is never too late to learn. It is never too late to mend. Men learn while they teach. Knowledge is power. Practice is the best of all instructions. Practice makes perfect. Learn to write well or not to write at all. Language is the dress of thought. Think before you speak. Lost time is never found again. So, on this slide, you will be given some questions. Try to answer them. Why is it necessary to have education? Second one, when does compulsory education start in Kazakhstan? How long does primary education last? How old were you when you started school? What form were you in? Which subject did you study at school? Can you choose your subjects? What do you think is the most important subject? Do you have to wear a uniform? Do students have to wear a uniform in Kazakhstan? Are there school rules at schools of Kazakhstan? So what is good in your school? What is bad? What are you going to do after finishing school? Yes? What were you going when you were still at school? Now you are students. So this is the end of our today's lesson. Thank you very much. See you next lesson. Goodbye.